Hello, dear friends. Hello. I can't believe the PetPix Academy podcast turned 1 year. It has been such a journey. And I just decided to share with you some of behind the scenes of what it's to create a podcast and what is the meaning of keeping up with it, which to be honest with you, it has been a lot of fun. So the truth is that, as I mentioned a lot of times, it was actually 2020. I remember my coaches sent me their proposal for me to join one of their classes, and I was so busy, prepping my studio that the only thing I remember was there are 3 marketing classes, and it's going to help you to find people. And I said, sure. So then I got this message on Facebook one Sunday, Vasi, your podcast training is starting. It was exactly in the middle of December 2020. My sister just had her baby. I was just finishing, a very successful season in photography in my local business. And I said, well, I guess I signed up for a podcast. So then in January 2021, I had to make a decision. What podcast to be, what it's going to specialize, what it's going to highlight. Also, believe it or not, but I had to do a lot of search and digging on how people run their podcast, because by that time back, I had no clue. I did listen only few ones, but that's about it. So then I went through this training, which was 4 weeks, and we met like once or twice a week, and we had different tasks. So then I had to listen a lot of podcasts to develop, okay, so how I'm going to start the podcast, what music I'm going to select, is it a royal-free music, and then how it's going to look my cover, then what text I'm going to use, and who I'm going to approach to invite them to jump with me on my first journey to launching the podcast, and so much more. It was a really very interesting experience. I had fantastic coaches that really definitely helped me, and we launched exactly on March 5th, 2021, our podcast, PetPix Academy, only in Apple Podcast, and I couldn't believe it. We had so many downloads. We actually were able to go on the charts, and we, reached top 10 US podcasts in our category, How To, which was incredible. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Then we had some incredible podcasts, but as you know, podcast number 12 was with Jennifer Bartok from Celebrity Catwalk. So I loved Jennifer. We had a lot of fun. And, long story short, after, she kind of introduced me to the pet fashion world. And again, I have a lot of other friends who have helped me on this journey, and I want to take the time to thank you. But after we launch podcast number 12, everyone kept asking me, Vasi, so are you going to Celebrity Catwalk? I'm like, behind the scene, like, it's very hard with my lifestyle. So long story short, then I did podcast number 25, Janae Faneri, and she said, Vasi, do you know that Post in the City offers vendor opportunities? And I said, well, there it's no brainer, I'm going. So after I went and I started live streaming, and some of you friends saw the quality of my photography, and then, I was very grateful and thankful to be approached by, some of you, or for me to approach you, to invite you to our podcast. And we had a lot. We had Ada, Nieves, we had also Julie Lannister, we had Janice Craig, we had Mary Ellen, who is PetPix Academy admin. She's incredible designer as well. We had the Tinkerbell, pet influencer with over 500,000 followers. We also had accounts who have over 70,000 followers in Instagram. That's the beauty of PetPix. It's that we are not only on Facebook, we are not only on Instagram. We practically are a global platform, which, we want to highlight and showcase the cuteness of the furry babies and pet fashion and charity and so much more in a global level. So whoever has a charity, whoever has also a coming a pet fashion event or events, reach out to me. I completely would love, to highlight you. I had, the honor of interviewing people, of course, from US, we had from Canada, UK, Australia multiple times. We had also from Italy, we had from Morocco, from Argentina, so we had also from a lot of, different countries. And then I'm sure I'm missing some, from Israel. So a lot of different people. We had with one guest speaker, we had with four guest speakers. We had some people who came only once, and some people who were highlighted four times with different friends of theirs. And as you know, then we branched out not only to the audio version of the podcast, but we also branched out and we do tons of videos. Nowadays, I'm very grateful. I mean, we did the beautiful, pageant queens who told us more about their stories. We also did a lot of fundraising events with PetPix, and I'm just so grateful. Eventually, after we launched everything, we decided to branch out to the rest of the podcast platform on a global level. So nowadays, you can listen our show not only in Apple Podcasts, but Spotify. Also, we are on Pandora, Amazon, it's actually Amazon Music, and so much more platforms. You go and you're going to listen, including of course our PetPix Academy website. But it has been a journey. And then we were about to go up to 100 episodes, and I remember my coaches did a great celebration of 4 hours, and I said I'm going again to launch 10 podcast episodes. Well, we ended up launching 14, which actually helped our podcast to go to top #1 in my own country, Bulgaria. I never thought that a podcast in English will be so listened in my own country. We became top 2 in Greece. I'm like, wow. And then nowadays we are actually part of top 1% global podcasts, which again, I cannot thank you enough. But again, this is a joint journey. We are in this together. The way I see it, it's not Vasi's podcast. It is our podcast. It is our platform of being able to unite the world, to unite the fur babies, to be their voice, to help pet fashion, to help the pet industry. And the most important is to have fun. And as a photographer, to give you some tips and tricks on how you can continue utilizing your best friend, your phone, other than our furry babies, of course, and family members, to create priceless memories. So many more stories to tell you. And I will tell you, each podcast episode has been an honor and a pleasure. And I cannot thank you enough to each of you for believing in me, to making PetPix Academy podcast really special. And to be honest with you, I was even advised by my coaches to do only one podcast episode. Well, do you know what? That we had few weeks, I call them PetPix Academy podcast marathons, where we launched every single day, 7 days, one podcast a day. But again, we told so many stories of you, your babies, your passion, what you stand for. We raised a lot of money and awareness for rescue organization, amazing, events which are happening in US and abroad, and so much more to come. So thank you again for watching this video. Thank you so much for looking and watching in our first magazine, which is exactly launched a year after we launched our podcast. So let's the fun continue, and this is how magic happens. So see you soon, friends.